All right, Shalom. I want to start by giving our praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who teach and rule well, and also to their elders, the men that taught them. I pray the Lord have peace, blessings, and mercy upon the households of the hopeful elect. This is the brother Shema Wan from the Great Millstone Houston Church. And today I want to hit a lesson going into pretty much not mourning for the world whenever they have to suffer the consequences, from their actions. Everybody's problem ain't ours, especially after you rejecting, the warning, you rejected the scriptures, So whenever it's time to face reality from certain things, it'll be pretty much like, hey, if you ain't, just like, hey, pretty much during the time of Noah, if you weren't in the ark, you are no longer a fucking thought, man. Like, it's coming down to those days. Because thinking about how it was with the CV-19, whenever the warnings were out, don't take it. Don't take the jab. Don't trust your enemy. Those who did take it, now they suffer the consequences. They got fucked up health issues, totally different type of spirit. So guess what? Nobody's, wallowing in sorrow behind, a fucking foolish, a move like that. And it makes me think about during the times that we're in now, whenever it ain't no jab, whenever it's the mark of the beast, and people reject the word of the Lord. They don't want to hear what the prophets say. They view us as if we're evil, from us standing stiffly for the Lord and what's written in these scriptures on what to do and what not to do. So whenever that time comes and they do the same thing that they did during the CV-19 days, nobody is going to fucking care. And when I say nobody, speaking about, those that stand stiffly for Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shah. Just like it says in 2nd Ezra, the 2nd chapter, I believe, those that put off the shadow of this world or put on the mortal. No, hold on, let me see. I think 2nd Ezra chapter 2 and verse, it's in 45. This is what I'm thinking about. 2nd Ezra 2 and 45, it says, He answered and said unto me, These be they that have put off the mortal clothing. And it is talking about pretty much how, well, let me read it. It says, those that have put off the mortal clothing and put on the immortal. Like, how do you do that? How do you change off what you wearing, like heavenly, a robe, or what you doing? No, it's basically going into, you have to change. A change has to be made. Pretty much, you no longer living in the shadow of this world, and you're living for the world to come. You're sacrificing this life, which is presently right now, for a better life to come that was promised. Like Yahweh Shah said, hold on, this is in the book of Luke. But just thinking about that, during the times whenever the chip is here and you see family and people, take it, it's like the mindset of they are on the outside of the ark, so they can't, they can't take attention, they can't take time, none of that shit. They're done. They are done. They have completely rejected Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, and now they have to reap what they have sown. All right, but this is what I want to get. So basically, losing your life now to gain a better one. This is Luke chapter 9 and verse 22. It says, now let me go straight to the point. 23. It says, and this is Yahweh Shai. And he said to them all, if any man will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross daily and follow me. For whosoever will save his life shall lose it. But whosoever will lose his life for my sake, the same shall save it. So going back to verse 23. If any man will come after me, let him deny himself. And that's the first step. Whenever the Lord calls you to follow him, brings you into, to his fold, so to speak, it's no longer how things were in the past. Like, this is the start to a new you. This is the start to being born again, pretty much. Being able to believe in, in this truth now. It changes the old ways of thinking, the old ways of moving. They change because now we're being cleansed and purified through the word that, that we're entertaining now. So it says, if any man will come after me, let him deny himself. And putting off the flesh, the desires and the lusts of the flesh that the Lord ain't pleased with. Being born again, those changes have to be made. They're going to be made. So it says you have to deny yourself, where it's no longer about you. Even when it gets to the point of it can change your comforts. That's the part of suffering for righteousness' sake. Just thinking about the context of this lesson. Whenever that time comes, it's talking about the mark of the beast. Also there's gonna be a heavy part of it, denying yourself. All right, denying yourself. But it says, and take up his cross and follow me. Okay. Oh, Salaki says, and take up his cross daily. And take up his cross daily and follow me. So the burdens that come with following the Lord. Okay. The scriptures, it tells you it tells you if you follow the Lord, hey, you're going to be hated by all men. Things are going to change. When you come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. Certain things change, and the Lord has it like that to see if you really follow him or if you're not. Proving a friend, like it says in Sirach, real quick. I don't have to get it. Goes into basically prove a friend before you accept them. When things are good, you're present, but whenever things get hard and, adversities pop up, you go MIA. All right. And just, just meditating on it, because this world right now, they're rejoicing and, it's up and running for them. But soon it's about to change and nobody's finna feel sorry for them. Matter of fact, Yahweh Shah said it in John 16 and 20 real quick. It says, verily, verily, I say unto you, that ye shall weep and lament, but the world shall rejoice. And right now, we're still out here, making our bodies a living sacrifice, still teaching on the highways and the hedges, still suffering for Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shah's sake, missing out on what people think could be opportunity in this life. But nah, like it says, our life is hid with Hamashiach. Colossians, the 3rd chapter. So we really don't have a life on this side. Our life on this side is to lose it so we can gain it. Salaki, let me go back to Luke. I don't even think, let me see. Let me read this again. Luke 9 and 24. Salaki, it says, for whosoever will save his life shall lose it. Thinking about on this side, whatever you think is necessary for you to have a more comfortable life, so you could come up more, which doing so can take the majority of your time, or you're too engaged and you put too much attention on things that don't have to do with Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shah. Some of the things that were mentioned in Matthew, the 19th chapter, from Apostle Peter. Let me go to that real quick. Just listing some of the things, that the Lord tells you you're going to have to make a sacrifice, but you'll get it back. You'll gain it. Matthew 19 and 27. Then answered Peter and said unto him, behold, we have forsaken all and followed thee. what shall we have therefore? You know, like, what's up with my life? You know, what we gonna get? You know? Verse 28, and Yahushua said unto them, verily I say unto you, that ye which have followed me, okay, and those that are able to follow Yahushua, what was the command? Going back to Luke 9 in verse 23, this is what Yahushua said, and he said to them all, if any man will come after me, or in other words, follow me, what is required? Let him deny himself. So it's not about you or your life or what you got going on. You know, what you want, what you desire. That comes second. If any man will come after me, let him deny himself. And, you know, and especially thinking about this sinful ass, weak ass nature, man. You know, denying the flesh. All right. It says, and take up his cross daily and follow me. So the burdens that come with following Yahushua, you know, a difficult path. You basically got to suffer the straight gate. You got to, that position of difficulty, it daily has to be dealt with the correct way. You still got to follow Yahushua no matter how heavy it gets. But see, that's the beauty of understanding and growing, you know, in this knowledge, because the Lord ain't gonna put too much on you that you can't handle. 1 Corinthians 10 and 13. Or understanding, the Lord said, look, hey, the burden that he got, if you follow him, is light. You can handle it, because Yahushua carried and is carrying the heaviest weight. You know, he's there to spot us, so to speak. You know, as if we in the gym lifting weights, and, you know, Yahushua spotting us. No matter how much weight you see on that bitch, keep lifting, because Yahushua right there lifting, you know, helping you lift it. You know, just type of mindset. But going back to Matthew 19 and 28, and Yahushua said unto them, verily I say unto you, that ye which have followed me, in the regeneration, when the Son of Man shall sit in the throne of his glory, ye also shall sit upon 12 tribes. Ye also shall sit upon 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. Verse 29, here's the point I want to get. And every one that hath forsaken houses, or brethren, or sisters, or father, or mother, or wife, or children, or lands, for my name's sake, and everything that was listed are things that, you know, are a part of your everyday life. You know, these are things that, you know, you have a care for. They take your time. They take attention. You put effort into those things. You know, major sacrifices if you don't. And it's an effect that comes from it. You know, it ain't just, oh, you know, hey, put them second and everything will go fine. No, you feel the effect putting your family second. Then you got to weigh it in the balance. Who am I really here to please? Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, or spending time with my family? Hey, we talked about that at Camp Friday. Making our bodies a living sacrifice for the Lord, so we can get our family, so we can have our family, you know, to enjoy one day. You know, but right now ain't that fucking time. Like Yahushua said, in the regeneration, that's whenever we're going to get, when we come back. And thinking about when Yahushua is ruling in the governing body with him. So that time, you know, when the kingdom is going to be restored unto the nation of Israel. All right. But now, not losing relationships with the family, even money, you know, whatever it could be on this side, that shit is a sacrifice that has to be made, you know, for an important reason. So finishing off the scripture, it says, so forsaking those things, right? It says, for my name's sake shall receive 100-fold and shall inherit everlasting life. So it's non-comparable. You know, put it on a balance. Enjoying a wife, brother, sister, your children, land, you know, for a short moment, you know, for a short season, for a short moment, compared to, look, give the Lord your life, then you go receive all of that and more. It's non-comparable. It's not comparable. and just man, let me see. I went way off topic from what I had, but it's all good. Let me get a few. So going back, hold on, let me see, man. The spirit kind of changed. I want to get some precepts now. Okay, I want to get some precepts now. I guess spirit took shift. But let me read a few precepts. Just going back into the initial topic or title that I was planning on going into. Should we mourn for this world? And the answer is no. Basically, they reap what they're gonna have to sow, just like us. If we sacrifice, things on this side, we're gonna reap the benefits, like Yahweh Shah just told us. What's to come. We'll get it all back 100-fold and everlasting life. But people think on this side, this is the way to access everlasting life, or this is the everlasting life era. No, this is the suffering. This is the judgment. This is the, this is the era of, giving this shit up and looking forward to something better, that has been promised unto us. But let's go to it. Oh, let me see. One second. Matter of fact, I'm gonna end it there. I ain't trying to do too much. Bringing a whole nother gang of precepts with a different topic. I'll just end it there. Lord willing, it was edifying. Hey, until the next time, I say shalom.